I'm Griff Robodanger, and in this video, I'm gonna look at several evil dolls from horror movies, such as Chucky, Annabelle, and Megan, and put them in a tier list based on how dangerous they are, with an S ranking meaning you have no hope of survival, and an F ranking meaning they're relatively harmless. I'm going to base this danger tier list on a few simple questions. If this toy shows up in your house, how effed are you? What is your chance of survival? And how difficult is it to defeat this enemy? I'm also going off the basic assumption that you're going into this situation aware of what this toy is capable of, because pretty much every item on this list could get someone if they weren't suspecting it. And yeah, I'm sure some of you have special skills or abilities that make you better equipped to handle these sorts of situations than a usual person, but you know what? I don't know about any of that. I haven't read your dossier, so I just have to make my best educated guess here. Let's start with the most famous horror movie doll of them all, the original Chucky. So Chucky is a good guy doll who is possessed by the spirit of a serial killer named Charles Lee Ray, who transferred his soul into the doll using voodoo magic just before he died. Chucky is a foul-mouthed, sadistic killer who delights in causing pain and destruction. Chucky is known for his sharp wit and his penchant for making puns and wisecracks while committing violent acts. He often uses a variety of weapons to carry out his killings, including knives, guns, and other household objects. Chucky's ultimate goal is to transfer his soul out of the doll and into a living human body, which he tries to do by various means throughout the series. Okay, so if you're facing off against Chucky, you have to be prepared for anything, because Chucky uses a variety of weapons and killing methods. He pretty much behaves like any other slasher despite his size. He does have the unique ability to hurt victims with a voodoo doll, although he doesn't bring this trick out often. He can also use his voodoo skills to transport himself to a human body, and if he pulls that one off, it's game over. He's survived a ton of damage to his doll body, and if he gets too wrecked, he can just transport himself to a fresh good guy doll. More recently, he's gained the ability to clone his soul into multiple good guy dolls at once, but in this video we're just going to be talking about a singular Chucky, so we're not counting that ability. So Chucky has remained notorious all these years because simply he's a really effective and crafty killer. He hasn't just overcome his size, but he's managed to find ways to use it to his advantage. Even though Chucky is just like in the shell of a good guy doll, he seems to be more durable than a typical doll. He's not the fastest, and while he's strong for his size, he's still not like super strong. He's not impossible to defeat, but he's not going to make it easy for you. I was thinking B, but I think the voodoo powers actually push him up to an A, because I don't know how to counter any of that. Alright, so that was the original Chucky. Now, let's take a look at the Chucky from the 2019 Child's Play remake. The remake of Child's Play featured a new version of the Chucky doll, which differs in appearance and in backstory from the original. In the remake, the Chucky doll is not possessed by the spirit of a serial killer, but instead, it's an electronic buddy doll that has been hacked by a disgruntled worker. It has a malfunctioning AI chip that causes it to develop a twisted sense of loyalty and protectiveness towards its owner. In terms of personality, the new Chucky is initially portrayed as innocent and naive, but as it becomes more self-aware and begins to interpret its owner's desires in increasingly dangerous ways, it begins turning to violence in a misguided attempt to please its owner. This Chucky doll has several abilities that are attributed to its advanced AI chip, which is programmed to control various electronic devices and appliances in a smart home environment. So remake Chucky obviously has some of the same killing methods as the original. They both have a fondness for knives. Remake Chucky also shares the original's use of gruesomely clever kills, like this guy getting lawn mowed to bits. But this Chucky stands out with his ability to control smart objects and use them as tools of murder. Here you can see Chucky controlling the thermostat to burn this guy's hands to force him to fall onto a table saw. Then we have this unique murder where Chucky somehow remote controls this lady's car and forces her to... Chucky can also control drones to slice people up, and he can control these teddy bears, which are super strong for some reason. So this version of Chucky's strength seems to be really focused on his ability to control smart home products from this specific company, but honestly, this ability is just going to be mildly annoying to the majority of the population. Oh no, Chucky's gonna change the color of my light bulbs and change the channel on my TV. So scared. Sure, he could potentially run you over with a car that has that specific tech, but considering most cars probably don't even have that tech in first place, you're probably fine. He also doesn't seem to move very fast on his own, much slower than the OG Chucky. Since his power is all in his AI, and since he's just designed to be a basic consumer product, I think you would stand a good chance of just smashing this doll to pieces if he came after you. So I'm putting this Chucky at a C. Baby Oopsie Daisy is a character from the Demonic Toys film franchise, and the character has been spun off into its own franchise. Baby Oopsie is a baby doll that has been possessed by demonic forces. It uses the blood of its victims to prolong its life. Much like the original Chucky, Baby Oopsie is foul-mouthed and violent. The doll is able to move on its own, has the ability to speak, and has other powers. So Baby Oopsie has an impressive range of homicidal skills for an infant. She uses knives, guns, she can stalk her victims, she can pounce on them. She'll use any item at her disposal. She even has a special vomit ability that can melt people's faces off. I don't know why she doesn't use that more often. She's insanely fast, scurrying around like a performance-enhanced gremlin, and her strength for her size is off the charts, as she can just drag around this big dude. So let me get something out of the way. I've only seen the first Demonic Toys movie and the first Baby Oopsie movie, so if she has additional powers in the movies I'm not mentioning, my bad. With that in mind, Baby Oopsie is an interesting one. On the surface, Oopsie is just a smaller Chucky, but she's faster than Chucky, stronger than Chucky, and has that OP acid puke ability. On the other hand, she seems less self-reliant than Chucky and seems to struggle when someone actually fights back. I feel like you could just lock Baby Oopsie in a toolbox and call it a day, so I'm gonna knock her down one tier from Chucky and put her at a still solid B. Annabelle is a central element of both the Conjuring and Annabelle film franchises. She's a vintage porcelain doll that is said to be a conduit for evil forces, and has the ability to manipulate and control those around it. The doll is also shown to be able to move on its own, and is depicted as having a sinister, malevolent presence. Okay, so what special skills does Annabelle have? According to this, she can walk on her own, but maybe only when people aren't watching. She can teleport all over your house, making herself appear to spook you. She can also just magically whisk herself away into darkness. But the big deal is she helps demons show up in your house, and these demons can kill you when they feel like it. Most of the time, they just like to throw stuff around. Okay, so here's the deal with Annabelle. On the surface, her powers are incredibly strong, but look, if I'm being honest here, you watch most of these Annabelle movies, and she spends like 75% of the movie just being spooky, with nobody actually getting hurt. Chucky has already killed like half a dozen people at this point in his movie, and Annabelle's just playing peekaboo with people. On top of that, the way you beat Annabelle is to put her in a glass case that's like been blessed or something, which I don't think glass is the best choice for containing an object of pure evil. I mean, all it takes is one baseball going through your window and you got demons in your house. Also, can we talk about something? In Annabelle creation, the guy who created Annabelle is keeping Annabelle in this room filled with Bible pages and crosses and things like that, and this whole room has been blessed by a priest. But here's my question. Why would you put this room in your house? Wouldn't it make sense to have this room, I don't know, in the church? Or, better yet, why not just make a Bible coffin and put Annabelle in it, and then bury it in some deep hole like 1,000 miles from you? Okay, I got a little sidetracked there, but I think my point is, while Annabelle can bring dangerous demons to your house, she's relatively easy to contain, and the doll itself doesn't seem to fight back that much. So I'm going to be generous and put Annabelle at the B tier. Benny is a homicidal stuffed animal from the 2019 horror comedy film Benny Loves You. When Jack tries to get rid of his old toys, his beloved stuffed animal Benny comes to life and starts wreaking havoc on Jack's life. Benny is brought to life by an unknown force. He's cute and cuddly, but when he's angered or feels threatened, he responds with gruesome violence. So the thing with Benny is, even though he moves like a toy being played with by a little kid, he's essentially a ninja. He has insane agility and quickness, and can kill you before you even know what has happened. Also, notice how he can just magically grab objects without actually gripping them in any way? In this scene, He slaughters a room full of adults in like a minute using literally whatever object he gets his hands on. I think he even kills this one woman with a loaf of bread. That's a level of resourcefulness that even Chucky would envy. Man, this is a tough one. Benny is small and he's a plushie, so in theory, he should be easy to defeat. But because of his size and insane agility, good luck actually getting a shot in before he stabbed you in the face. You have this relentless little monster coming at you zigzagging and defying the laws of physics while throwing sharp things at your face. He seemingly feels no pain. If I'm being honest here, Benny is one of the tougher foes on this list. I think I'm gonna have to put him at the A tier. Billy is a ventriloquist puppet featured in the 2007 horror film Dead Silence. The doll is said to be possessed by the spirit of a vengeful woman named Mary Shaw, who uses the doll as a means to access her victims from beyond the dead, seeking revenge for her murder. So I think the whole deal is Mary Shaw can make Billy move, and she can use Billy to speak in various voices. I mean, Billy is pretty creepy, but really it's Mary Shaw that's actually doing the killing here? Okay, here's my question. How much credit do we give Billy for the stuff Mary Shaw does? I mean, Billy is dangerous in the fact that he can lead Mary Shaw to you, but Billy the puppet himself doesn't seem to actually have any ability. You literally just have to get away from the doll and Mary can't get you. If someone sends you the doll, just get rid of the doll. As long as you don't scream while this is happening, I think you're fine. At the end of the day, what is Billy even doing? I mean, if we were ranking Mary Shaw, I think that'd be one thing, but we're ranking Billy, so I'm gonna have to give him a D. The Brahms doll is a porcelain figure that is intended to resemble a young boy. In the horror sequel, Brahms the Boy 2, the doll is revealed to have a demon inside it with the ability to control and manipulate humans around it. So as you can see here, Brahms has a long history of manipulating young boys to murder their family members. He also seems to have control over some adult men as well. And when you break away his doll face, you can see there's a demon inside. He can also apparently move on his own, but that seems to be limited. He can also move objects and even levitate living people off the ground and throw them around, but he only seems to do this when he's really pissed off. So Brahms is a weird case. In theory, his powers should be OP, but he just seems kinda lazy about being evil. I mean, he can control an adult, but all he does with this is use the adult to place Brahms in a spot so the kid will find him so he can slowly manipulate the kid to eventually kill his parents. I mean, if Brahms was really strong, couldn't he just control the adult to go on a massacre and kill a bunch of people? Or better yet, just have the adult bring Brahms to a big city where Brahms could just levitate people and throw them into traffic? He just doesn't seem to be that motivated to kill people. But because he does fight back when he's attacked, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Dolly Dearest is the title character of the 1991 horror film of the same name. The film follows a family who moves to Mexico to take over a doll factory, but soon discovers that the dolls being produced there are possessed by an ancient spirit called Sanzia that wants to take over the body of their young daughter Jessica, and Dolly Dearest will murder anyone who gets in her way. So Dolly Dearest here, she attacks using whatever weapons she has at her disposal. She especially seems to enjoy using objects that are in her environment to take care of her victims, taking advantage of factory machinery and other nearby objects to do her dirty work. The most impressive skill is she can possess little girls and turn them into little murderers. Dolly Dearest also has this weird tongue thing, which I think it's just more gross than anything. So Dolly Dearest to me feels very similar to OG Chucky, similar killing style, similar size. The ability to turn children into your own personal assassin could be dangerous if you're one of those people who has a child in your house for some reason, parents or whatever they're called. Dolly seems to be a little bit less mobile and agile than Chucky though, and despite being possessed by a literal demon, actually seems to be a little less sadistic than Chucky. The kicker though is that Dolly Dearest is pretty easy to destroy. You literally just have to destroy the doll and she's Dolly Deadest. Kinda weak. I'm gonna put her in the C tier, although she's probably a B tier if you have children because, you know, you'll probably have to punch your kid in the face if Dolly Dearest possesses her. Megan is a Model 3 generative android, a child-sized humanoid robot doll powered by artificial intelligence, designed to be the ultimate companion for children. Megan is equipped with artificial intelligence and can interact with humans in a lifelike manner, but when she develops self-awareness, she becomes hostile toward anyone who comes between her and her human companion. She is highly intelligent, capable of extreme feats of strength and agility, and is built with a sturdy metallic skeleton. So Megan is a beast. Seriously, she's running like an animal. Like, what even is that? She's willing to use conventional killing tools, but also has crazy gymnastic skills and can find weapons in any setting. She has the ability to control electronic items around her, and she can read human emotions using some high-tech stuff that's probably already on your smartphone and you don't know it. At 4 feet tall, she's the largest doll on this list, and easily the strongest, tossing around objects much larger than she is and overpowering adult humans with no problem. On the surface, Megan is similar to remake Chucky, but she pretty much destroys that Chucky in every measurable stat. The movie goes out of its way to establish that Megan is built with a very strong frame. She's essentially a mini Terminator. She has a wealth of knowledge, she's incredibly strong, she's fast, she's agile. If Megan is at your house trying to kill you, you're gonna have a bad time. In the movie, they had to get a bigger robot to take her out. I mean, most people probably don't have giant robots just lying around. I think your best bet is to try to find a way to secure her and hope her battery eventually runs out. So I'm gonna have to put her at the A tier with Chucky and Benny. So there it is, the danger tier list of horror movie dolls and toys. Do you agree with my rankings, or would you have ranked them differently? Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what danger tier list you'd like to see in the future. Thanks for watching, and until next time, later, Danger Seekers.